My name is Hannah Nicholson.
Hi there, my name's Nathaniel Cartier.
You're breaking up a wee bit, but it's not. It's fine. It's doable. I was 33 yesterday. It's 29th April, and I was born in Shetland. I'm from Bray in the North Mainland. I have a thing for tattoos and selkies. Selkies are mythical beings, and they're a big part of folklore in Shetland. And in fact, in like certain parts of other parts of Scotland as well. My most recent job that I held was working in a school library here in Aberdeen. I'm also a writer, and I'm one of the winners of the Scottish Book Trust's New Writers Award for this year. So I've kind of got that to keep me going right now in terms of something to do. I wrote a short story a couple of years back, again focusing again on Shetland folklore. Creature called the Wolver. It's a benevolent creature, and it used to leave fish on the windows of poor people. I came up with the idea of the Wolver kind of reappearing in Shetland in the modern day, when obviously folk are subsisting on food banks and unemployment's been kind of high and stuff. I sent that story in, and they liked it enough that they decided to deserve an award. So that's pretty cool. Never been a card carrying member of a political party, to be honest. Obviously, I use my vote every time an election comes up, but I don't card carry for a particular party. Can I go just quickly go get more water? It's just something that's always been there. I couldn't really tell you. It sounds really minor, but I don't know. I guess it's watching the BBC as a kid, and remember in the 90s they used to say this is BBC Scotland on 1 or BBC Scotland on 2. That sounds like a really small kind of insignificant detail, but that's just, I can remember that as a kid. BBC Scotland on 1. That's how they put that. I think that's probably my first idea of like Scottishness that I can think of. I'm definitely Shetlander first and then Scottish for sure. Shetlandic is the term I've heard used to describe the dialect we speak. Its coordinate is something like 60 degrees north. I mean, that's something you'll see kind of sighted around Shetland a lot, because that's sort of where we are. Longitude wise, it is further north than both Moscow and the southernmost point of Greenland. So that should give you an idea of just how cold it is. So that's fun to deal with. In terms of getting to Aberdeen, most of your kind of transport links to the mainland go to Aberdeen. There's obviously flights to Glasgow and Edinburgh as well, but you can either fly to Aberdeen, that takes just over an hour, or if you get the boat, that's like an overnight ferry, so it takes 12 hours. Well, I don't really know. I guess it's just all these. From what I can tell, watching it so far, it mainly seems to be kind of just personal vendettas. I mean, they sit and bang on about stranger danger, but I mean, half the time when folk are murdered, they're murdered by somebody they know. And somewhere like Shetland, which is so small, that's fairly likely to happen. Let's face it. So, yeah, but at least in Aberdeen, I can hide from folk because there's more people. Because there's 250,000 folk here, and there's about a tenth of that on my island if you're lucky. So I just come here and hide. It's awesome. Jonathan Sutherland, who presents for BBC Spot, on BBC Scotland Spot, he's from Bray. An actress called Sandra Vo, who actually did appear in the series Shetland. I think she did a lot of kind of voice acting and stuff. And she's the mother of Candida Doyle, who played keyboards in Pulp. Norman Lamont, former Chancellor, was born in Shetland. He was brought up in Edinburgh, but he was born in Shetland. Stephen Robertson, how can I forget Stephen Robertson? PC Sandy Wilson, originally from Vidlin.
We all feel the same. We're all stuck in our homes every day. But all this music is what keeps my spirit flowing. Makes me feel as if this is all going to change. Cause I can't wait till the lockdown is lifted and we can all fly away. And we can all fly away.
Hellish. I had so many big plans for last year. In Shetland, we've up Heliah, which used to just be kind of like one festival, is now mushroomed into like a small season of them between January and March. Up Heliah is a festival that celebrates kind of like Shetland's Viking heritage and kind of Scandinavian connections, but it started in kind of the late 1800s, and again, it used to just be the festival in Lerwick, but so the idea is that There's the squad of men that dress up as Vikings, and the Geyser Jarl is kind of the one that leads them, and he leads the whole procession. They light up all these torches, and they kind of march around the area with a large wooden galley that they spend pretty much the entire year building, and spend the entire year in their costumes and stuff too. And they lead this big procession of people, and they basically kind of lead the galley. Well, in Lerwick, they lead it into the centre of a play park. That's not a joke. It was meant to represent a Viking funeral, and a Viking funeral would have happened on the water, not in the play park. Yeah, they basically just lead the galley to its resting place, chuck the torches and leave it to burn. It's one of those things that you have to kind of experience it to believe it. It's a very odd festival, but it's good fun. Somebody went on holiday to Italy and brought COVID back, and it suddenly kind of became a really big deal on the island. We had something like the highest number of cases per head of population for a while, I think. They basically had to cancel that Uphelliar festival, and then same way they cancelled the folk festival, and there was a heap of, because I'd been home for Christmas that year and had gone back shortly after New Year. I didn't come back to the island till August because everything was in lockdown. I probably could have swung it as essential travel because I was on furlough from my then job. I used to work as a cleaner at Aberdeen Uni. I've really just not been home much at all. Even at Christmas, like I was only home from something like the 23rd to about the 2nd of January. Like I'm usually home for far longer than that at Christmas. Only water. Either a flavoured cider or a Prosecco. Obviously yesterday was my birthday, so I had Prosecco then, but yeah, I like a flavoured cider as well. I kind of grew up on a kind of in a place where it's like just getting drunk on a night out is very much the norm. Probably contributes to a lot of like antisocial behaviour and things like that and all that stuff. So I mean, I've known folk who have been or are alcoholics and have lost folk to alcoholism, and it's just a horrible thing to see somebody kind of on the decline. Totally voted against it and not happy that it's happened, and not looking forward to getting massive roaming charges on my mobile next time I'm on the continent, and kind of miss the idea that it will, freedom of movement's been taken away. My passport expires next year, and when it gets replaced, it'll be blue. And yeah, I just think Brexit seems to be a complete and utter, omni shambles. I think that's the word, the thick of it. Yeah, it's an omni shambles.
Violent sexual imagery.
I grew up in the North Mainland where there are obviously a lot of folk who work at the local oil terminal and have a lot of money. The gas plant that was built, people were actually renting out houses to workers there. So of course they were charging like, say, $2,000 a month for an ex-council 3-bed house. Shetland is it is a very rich place, and it comes out on top in all these like quality of life surveys that banks hold, but there are folk who live in the Isles in poverty. I know folk back in Shetland who've had to use the food bank, and I think it's just something you'd struggle to admit to, because again, I almost feel there's a bit of shame kind of associated with it in some ways. I'd like to see Scotland be independent in 10 years' time, but I guess we'd have to see if we can convince the powers that be to hold another referendum in that time, and I guess as well we'd just have to keep voting in governments that would make that happen. At this point in my life, I'm perfectly happy here. I don't see me emigrating or anything at any point, but you never know what the future holds. My chosen song is by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I've been a massive Tom Petty fan since I was really tiny. My dad had followed him since the start of his career. I genuinely cried my eyes out when he died. I was gutted. It felt like losing a family member. Because his music means that much to me. The song is by the Smiths. It's called Money Changes Everything, and I'm removing it. I like the Smiths, but I don't like Morrissey. He's just really annoying and smug and pretentious, but I just thought I'm taking the Smiths one off because I don't like Morrissey. So sorry guys.